Hi, everyone. I'm retired meteorologist Pat Prokop, and today is Tuesday, March 4th, 2025. And yes, I'm getting over this terrible cold that I've been having. It's still lingering on. Anyway, we have a severe weather event shaping up to move into our region throughout the overnight hours, more so tomorrow morning from sunrise to around noon or early afternoon, depending on which counties you live in. The western counties earlier in the morning, the eastern counties late in the morning to around the noon or 1 o'clock hour. Let's begin by looking straight at the jet stream right now because this is a very important player into the game. And this is showing a very strong trough across the south center portion of the country. And this is going to be affecting and moving eastward into our area, affecting the weather for much of the southeast portion of the United States for overnight and tomorrow. Right now, they're already beginning to get severe weather in and around this area right here in the lower Mississippi River Valley. Further to the north, they're going to be getting some snow associated with it, but not a heavy snow, about 1 to 3 inches in most locations, maybe a little bit more up in Iowa. But for all in all, we're going to keep an eye on this system here for us. Let's take a look at the advisories, first of all. And a severe thunderstorm, or actually tornado watch, is in effect for the portions of Mississippi and Louisiana for the remainder of the afternoon hours. Over in the middle portion of the country, it's a high wind warning and watch in effect for those areas. And we're going to be under the effects of that too. As this system gets closer to us, we're going to see the winds increasing across our region. Let's zoom in on the southeast. Already in a large portion of Georgia, west of our area, we're seeing a high wind advisory in effect for just about all of that region. Winds gusting up to 30 to 35 miles an hour, maybe even up to 35 to 45 miles per hour throughout the day today going into tomorrow. And this most likely will be advancing eastward into our area throughout the day on Wednesday. I'm expecting to see winds gusting from easily 30 to 35 miles an hour in our area without the storm areas. During the storms, we could see winds up to 65 to 75 miles per hour. Yeah, that's the potential. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. Let's look at the U.S. radar first of all. And there we're seeing the band of precipitation associated with that strong wave in the jet stream, and it's associated with this area from Iowa all the way southward into Louisiana. And there we're seeing a line of hefty thunderstorms with tornado watches in effect and tornado warnings in effect. As a matter of fact, looking at the regional radar out of Jackson, Mississippi, there are a lot of severe weather warnings in effect for that area, line of severe thunderstorms moving eastward. A couple tornado warnings have been issued for that area as well, particularly on the southern end of that line of severe thunderstorms that is affecting or advancing eastward out of Mississippi into Alabama. Eventually, it's going to work its way into Georgia and South Carolina. All right, let's go back to the maps themselves and look at the advisories from the National Storm Prediction Center of NOAA, and it's showing a enhanced area of severe weather potential for today across the southeast United States, including Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. A level 2 risk, this is level 3, a level 2 risk into the west central portions of Georgia, and a level 1 risk all the way up into the Ozarks, Missouri, portions of Illinois, western Kentucky, most of Tennessee, and the western portions of Georgia. This is more so for overnight into early tomorrow morning before daybreak. And then as we go into tomorrow, we can look at the conditions, and it advances eastward as expected. Level 3 chance, enhanced risk for severe thunderstorms across a large portion of eastern South Carolina, including the Hilton Head, Beaufort area and Charleston, and up into North Carolina and southeastern portions of Virginia, with a level 2 risk or a slight risk for severe thunderstorms across most of eastern Georgia, northeast portions of Florida, and into the central portions of South Carolina. All right, let's take a look at the conditions of satellite imagery showing a large area of precipitation and clouds associated with that short wave over here in the lower and mid Mississippi River Valley. Right now we're seeing clouds increasing across the southeast portion of Georgia and South Carolina, and the winds are gusting as well. I've been getting wind gusts over 20 to 25 miles per hour now across southeastern Georgia into southern South Carolina. All right, let's take a look at the map. First of all, this is the computer model model, the Canadian model, the RGEM, and it is showing a high resolution model here, we call that. Putting this into motion, and there's the line of severe thunderstorms right now that I just showed you on the radar summary, moving out of Mississippi into Alabama, and then by 10 o'clock tonight, and actually 9 o'clock tonight, it'll be moving into the out of eastern Mississippi into western Alabama, and then out of eastern Alabama to western Georgia by 2 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, and then going into Wednesday in the pre-morning hours, right around daybreak. It should be almost aligned with Interstate 75, almost, a little bit east of that to the north, and up into northwestern portions of South Carolina. To the north, there's that band of snow that'll be associated with it across the mid and upper Mississippi River Valley into the Great Lakes states. Heavier snow up in upper Michigan, but most of this will be in the form of rain on the front side of it. In the back side, you'll see the effects of snow off to the north of that. And then as that system wraps around, it does bring in a little bit warmer air across that region, so a mix of rain and snow. Not really heavy amounts of snow expected across most of that area, but more concern here is in our area. So let's go back this up and look at a closer high-resolution view of this, and looking at the southeast United States. And there's that system right now. And there it is across the portions of Louisiana, Mississippi. And this is where it is as of the mid-afternoon on Tuesday right now, and then moving into Alabama right there and during the nighttime hours, and then into western Georgia in the pre-dawn hours. And again, right around sunrise, right in this area here is sunrise. It should be moving into the western portions of southeastern Georgia and into central South Carolina. Now, this could be a band of very strong to severe thunderstorms as it moves eastward, even though it's early in the morning. What's called the dynamics of the system, the mid and upper layers of the atmosphere will be very strong, and this could produce very strong straight line damaging winds associated with it. I'm going to show you that in just a minute. And continuing the advancement of this system by 16 Zulu, which is 11 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, tomorrow morning. It should be right along the coastline of Georgia and moving into southeastern South Carolina, approaching, Hardeeville, Hampton, Beaufort, and Hilton Head Island, and also Bluffton area at that time, so late morning. Savannah area, expect to see this system between 10 and 11 o'clock in the morning. In the Statesboro area, probably in the ballpark around 9 o'clock in the morning. All right, I want to show you this. Let's go into, back this up just a little bit over here. I want to go into the 850 millibar heights and winds. That's about 5,000 feet above us. So it's not all that much above us, a mile above us up in the atmosphere. In atmospheric terms, that's very low. And it's showing very strong winds during the morning hours. And let's advance this to 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. Here we got a very strong band of winds aloft. And these winds here, even just at 5,000 feet, are gusting between 60 and 70 miles per hour. Now, if the thunderstorms tap into this wind field, which is not very difficult to do since it's so low, it could bring these winds down to the surface, and we could see some very strong damaging straight-line winds associated with these thunderstorms pushing eastward across the region. Actually, you might not see that much lightning or hear that much thunder associated with these at this time of the morning, but the winds will be very strong associated with this system. And again, the potential for 65 to 75 mile per hour winds at the surface during the morning hours on Wednesday, particularly between 7 a.m. in the western counties and noon along the coastal areas, to be associated with the passage of this front. Meanwhile, the winds just in advance of the system are going to remain strong and gusty throughout the morning and afternoon hours outside of the rain areas. And I'm not expecting too much rain associated with this. And as far as total rainfall, this system's going to be moving kind of fast, so only about a third of an inch of rain. Really, it's not going to help much for that big forest fire and fire out in the northeast portions of South Carolina. Actually, the winds are going to fan that system out, so that's That's not a good thing up in the northeast portion of South Carolina. But in our area, we're expecting a third of an inch on the average across our area. Further to the west in Alabama and western Georgia, maybe a half inch to an inch of rain associated with that system. All right, let's go on into the conditions for the winds. First of all, from the precision forecast data of the National Weather Service, National Forecast Digital Data Service, and it shows we're going to see winds gusting throughout the day on Wednesday from 30 to 35 miles per hour outside of the storm areas. It's just going to be a windy day outright. We could also see non-storm winds gusting over 40 miles per hour at times. But during the storms themselves, we could see, the potential is there for 65 to 75 mile per hour straight line winds. And don't be surprised if we go under a tornado watch tomorrow morning. It wouldn't surprise me in the least. Definitely a severe thunderstorm watch, but a tornado watch most likely will be in effect during the morning hours for eastern Georgia and eastern South Carolina, and portions of northeastern portions of Florida probably as well. And all across the region, we can see those winds are going to be strong, gusting 30 to 35 miles per hour just about everywhere during the late morning and early afternoon hours. The strongest winds will be late in the morning hours. Again, very strong. So batten down the hatches, as they say, because things are going to be blowing around tomorrow with these strong winds moving on in. All right, let's take a look at the my weather and nature page, Pat Weather and Nature page at savannahpat.name. And here I got the summary, brief summary. Thunderstorms and storms on Wednesday morning, some with damaging winds in excess of 65 miles per hour. These will be followed by cooler weather conditions again for Thursday and Friday. We'll be back into the 60s for the high, but then warming back into the 70s over the weekend with another rain system. I don't think it's going to be quite as strong as this one, but another rain system moving in Saturday night and Sunday morning. And then looking ahead, you can see the conditions with the temperatures in the mid-60s for the high on Thursday, Friday, upper 60s, then back into the mid to upper 70s on Saturday, back to the middle 60s on Sundays, upper 60s on Monday. Then we're going to be back in the 70s just about for all of next week, and even a couple of days by the middle or end of next week. We might be flirting with 80 degrees once again across our area. And again, looking at my 6-week weather outlook, it's not a forecast, it's an outlook. It's calling for those temperatures to average around the normal. Now, normal for this time of the year here in the greater Savannah area is high 70 degrees, low 47. And then as we go into the following week, the normal high reaches 71 to 48. Going into St. Patrick's Day, it looks like we're going to see mild weather conditions with temperatures in the low to middle 70s, but there is a chance for some rain on St. Patrick's Day, but that's not set in stone right now. But there's a probability that we could see some rain, but temperatures will be on the mild side. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that and see how things work out. Usually the luck of the Irish wins pretty much in these types of situations. All right, so keep an eye on the weather. Thanks to all those who have been supporting my channel. I appreciate that. It takes actually some resources to keep this channel up and running. All right. Tomorrow morning, particularly, pay very close attention to the weather conditions. Very strong winds. I fear for the students, waiting at the bus stops during the morning hours because of the moderate to high winds will be associated with the prefrontal winds before the front actually gets here. And then, mid to late morning, we could see some very strong winds across the region. And then after the front passes through, we might see some clearing conditions later in the afternoon hours, but the winds will be continuing to be blustery from the northwest instead of the southwest, and they could still be gusting over 30 to 35 miles per hour during the afternoon hours. And it looks like Thursday is going to be another breezy to windy day, but mostly sunny weather conditions and cool temperatures. Okay, with that being said, I'll catch you later. And again, be prepared, be forewarned. There could be some severe weather, damaging winds Wednesday morning.